Dear viewers and my subscribers, I welcome you all to my YouTube channel. Today I have brought a story by Oscar Wilde, an Irish poet, dramatist, short story writer. Oscar Wilde, his story, very simple story, a fairy tale you can say. A fairy tale is a very simple story, especially written for children, that passes a moral lesson, that teaches moral values, norms and humanity, love and affection to children. Especially written for children, fairy tale usually begins with the phrases once upon a time, many years ago, once there was a king, and so on. These are the conventional ways of starting a fairy tale, and this is prescribed in the new syllabus of English, that is from story portion, from literature portion, let's say literature portion that has poems, stories, essays and dramas. The Selfish Giant. As I said, The Selfish Giant, the title itself is very simple. Swarthi Rakshas, selfish, Swarthi and giant Rakshas. यो एउटा स्वार्थी राक्षसको कथा हो. यो एउटा भेरी सिम्पल स्टोरी, एकदम साधारण कथा हो. एउटा राक्षस हुन्छ जसले आफ्नो गार्डनमा, एउटा राक्षस छ, त्यो राक्षसको एउटा ठुलो गार्डन हुन्छ, ठुलो बगैँचा हुन्छ. त्यो बगैँचामा विभिन्न थरीका फुलहरू फुलेका हुन्छन्, राइट. यो गार्डन, it was a beautiful garden full of flowers, fruits. There were 12 peach trees in the garden, and the birds, the singing birds, they always sang beautiful songs, melodies in the garden. So a giant had a big castle. Castle means महल. एउटा ठुलो महल हुन्छ एउटा राक्षसको. त्यो राक्षसको महलमा एउटा महलसँग जोडिएको एउटा ठुलो बगैँचा हुन्छ, फुलबारी हुन्छ, and that garden had beautiful flowers. There were different trees. There were the peach trees, 12 peach trees mentioned there, and then the birds, the singing birds used to come into the garden every day, and they would fill the surrounding with their melodious songs. त्यो बगैँचाको पुरै वातावरण नै एकदम मधुर, राइट, सुन्दरताले भरिएको बगैँचा र चराहरूको सुमधुर गीतहरूले, सङ्गीतहरूले, म्युजिकले त्यो गुन्जायमान हुन्छ त्यो बगैँचा. It was beautiful place. So every day after school, in the afternoon, the children, after completing their schools, the children used to come to the garden and play. They would enjoy. They used to have a lot of fun in the garden because it was a beautiful place to play, right? It was a beautiful place for the children to play because there were soft green grass all over the field, means the garden, and the children used to enjoy. They enjoyed for 7 years because for 7 years the giant had been absent from his castle. The giant had been on a visit to his friend Cornish ogre. Cornish ogre. Cornish ogre. Cornish means a place. It is the name of a place. Cornish ogre लाई भेट्न गएको हुन्छ. ogre, O-G-R-E, ogre, ogre, O-G-R-E, ogre. Ogre means demon, दानव, giant. Giant को साथी giant नै हुन्छ, obviously here. Giant को एउटा साथी हुन्छ, Cornish ogre, उसलाई भेट्न गएको हुन्छ र उही बसेको हुन्छ यो giant, the selfish giant. 7 वर्षपछि, when he comes back to his garden, what he finds? He finds that the children were playing in his garden. He became very angry. How dare you come into my garden? The giant shouted at the children. The giant aggressively shouted at the children. He scolded the children. गाली गर्छ त्यो केटाकेटीहरूलाई giantले गाली गर्छ रिसाएर. And he says, nobody can come into my garden. It is my garden. I am the owner of the garden and nobody can enter my garden. And he, because of his rough voice, because of his loud voice, because of his aggressive nature, the children become frightened, afraid, and they run away. They go away. Now, the giant, what he did, he created high walls all around the garden. त्यो बगैँचाको वरिपरि चारैतिर वरिपरि ठुलो अग्लो अग्लो पर्खाल लगाउँछ त्यो जायन्टले र एउटा बोर्ड त्यहाँ नोटिस बोर्ड राख्छ. In front of the garden he puts a notice board. What the notice board says? Trespassers will be prosecuted. Trespassers will be prosecuted means कोही पनि मेरो अनुमति बिना यहाँ प्रवेश गर्ने प्रयास गर्यो भने उसलाई कोर्टमा लगिनेछ, उसमाथि मुद्दा चलाइनेछ. He will be taken to the court. Trespassers will be prosecuted. अनुमति बिना प्रवेश गर्ने व्यक्तिलाई कोर्टमा लगिन्छ. Means ऊ माथि मुद्दा चलाइनेछ. Means nobody is allowed to enter the garden. That was the intention of the giant. The children became very sad because they had now no place to play, because it was very beautiful place, lovely place, good environment, beauty of nature. Okay, everything was comfortable, luxurious place, you can say, very romantic place for the children to play. But the giant prevented the children, he restricted the children, he showed his selfishness there. Then the children started playing on the roads. On the roads, there were pebbles, there were stones on the roads. The roads were very dirty. It was full of dust and dirt. The children did not enjoy playing on the roads. They were very sad, but they had no options. Because they were afraid of the giant. Now, after some time, what happened? Winter came. After the children stopped coming there, winter came. After the children stopped coming there in the garden, the winter started. Winter season started, and it was all full of, means the flowers disappeared, the birds disappeared, and the beauty of the garden was lost. It was no more beautiful. And the winter, the frost, snow, right? The wind, the north wind, all these means you can say the negative aspects of the nature were visible. Now, the season, after the change of season, spring season. During the spring season, the garden used to be very beautiful, full of flowers. Seasons frequently means seasons kept on changing. Seasons changes. But even after the spring, केही समयपछि स्प्रिङ सिजन आयो, अरूतिर बाहिर सबै गार्डनहरुमा फूलहरु फुले हैन, सबै गार्डनहरु रमणीय भए, means greenery was seen in the other places. But in the giant's garden, it was still winter. Giant को गार्डनमा अझ पनि winter नै थियो. Right? Autumn season came. Autumn season gave fruits to the other plants, other trees, but it did not give any fruit to the giant's garden. Why? Because they said he is very selfish. Let's not give any fruits to them, to these trees, because these trees are sad. The trees were also sad because the children stopped coming there. Means the giant is very selfish, and we shall not give any fruit to these. The seasons, spring season came everywhere, but in the giant's garden, spring season was not seen. Now, after some time, the giant started questioning himself. He started questioning frequently, why is still there winter in my garden? Everywhere, all around, there is spring season. Everywhere, flowers are blooming, flowers are blossoming, the fruits are visible on the trees, the birds are singing in other places, other garden. But why in my garden still there is winter? That question haunted his mind. But he wondered, he thought, is the nature angry with me? What wrong have I done? He had questions. One day, one morning, when he woke up, he heard beautiful, beautiful, melodious, you can say, song, music of a bird. It was the singing of bird. It was the singing of bird. It had been many years, it had been long time that the giant had heard the song, the music of the bird, the melody of the bird. When he came out in the garden, he noticed something. What he noticed? That from the hole, there had been a hole in the walls. The garden was surrounded by walls. त्यो बगैँचालाई चारैतिरबाट पर्खालले घेरिएको थियो, तर त्यो वालमा कुनै ठाउँमा प्वाल परेको थियो. There had been a hole in the wall, and through the hole the children had crept in. The children had got inside the garden. केटाकेटीहरू गार्डनमा प्रवेश गरिसकेका थिए. And they were sitting on different trees. केटाकेटीहरू फरक फरक रुखहरूमा बसिरहेका थिए. When the giant saw the sight, he wondered, all those trees on which the children were sitting, जुन रुखमा केटाकेटीहरू बसिरहेका थिए, रुखको हाँगामा केटाकेटीहरू बसिरहेका थिए, त्यो रुखमा हरियाली देखिन्थ्यो, फ्लावरहरू, फूलहरू फक्रिएका देखिन्थे. Flowers, right, flowers bloomed in those trees on which the children were sitting. But one tree in the corner, it was still sad. One child, because one child was unable to climb the tree. एक जना बच्चा कुनामा, in corner of the garden, there was one tree. The tree still had winter. त्यो रुखमा चाहिँ फूलहरू थिएन. Because one child, a little child, was not able to climb the tree. प्रयास गरिरहेको थियो एउटा सानो बच्चा, त्यो रुख चढ्नलाई प्रयास गरिरहेको थियो, तर सकिरहेको थिएन, उसको हाइट पुगिरहेको थिएन. And the branches of the trees spoke, yes, try, climb up, dear child. रुखले पनि बोलिरहेको थियो. त्यो दृश्य देखेपछि जायन्टलाई दया लाग्यो. And he took the child and he told him, yes, come, I will help you. And he put him on the tree. The moment he put him on the tree, again there was greenery, flowers bloomed, started smiling, birds started singing. त्यो दृश्य देखेपछि त्यो जायन्टको आँखा खुल्यो. उसले सोच्यो, oh my God, how selfish I had been. How self-centered. म कति स्वार्थी थिएँ, म कति अज्ञानी थिएँ, अभिमानी थिएँ. म यो साना केटाकेटीहरू, कलिला बालबालिकाहरूको जुन खेल्ने अधिकार छ, बगैँचामा खेल्ने अधिकार छ, त्यो अधिकार खोसिरहेका थिए. म कति दुष्ट थिएँ, म कति अभिमानी थिएँ, म कति पापी थिएँ. I was really bad, wicked. He changed himself. He broke the wall. He took an axe. एउटा बन्चरो लिन्छ र सारा वालहरू भत्काउँछन्. त्यो बोर्ड उखालेर फाल्छ. He removed the notice board, trespassers will be prosecuted. And he says, now the garden is open for all the children. सबै केटाकेटीहरू अब गार्डनमा आएर खेल्न पाउँछन्. Then there was again beauty in the garden. There was again spring in the garden. अब केही समयपछि त्यो दुई चार केही दिनपछि द जायन्ट he was interested in the little child whom he had helped climb the tree. त्यो बच्चालाई खोज्न थाले जायन्टले because the little child had thanked him. त्यो बच्चाले थ्याङ्क यू भनेको थियो जायन्टलाई र he had kissed him, right? Means the child had responded his thankfulness with a kiss to the to the giant, and this was all in his memory. He wanted to meet the child. The giant wanted to meet, he wished to see the little child whom he had helped climb the tree. तर त्यो बच्चा देखिएन. He asked other children, where is that little child? They said, we don't know where he lives, because he was the first, we saw him the first time in this garden. हामीले पहिले देखेका थियौं नि त्यो बच्चालाई, को हो कहाँ बस्छ हामीलाई केही थाहा छैन. But the giant still wished to see the child, right? Now after some years he became old, right? He became old, and one day he still remembered that child. He still wished, he still longed to see that child. But the child, he did not come. One day he became old, and he saw the child, the same child, in one of the corner of the garden. He went close. When he went close to the child, he saw the marks, दाग थियो, imprints of nails in his palms and legs. त्यो सानो बच्चाको हातमा र हत्केलामा र खुट्टामा नेल्स गाडिएको, नेल्सले काटी ठोकिएको घाउ थियो. त्यो घाउ देख्ने बित्तिकै जायन्ट रिसायो. Who did this? Who wounded you? Please tell me his name. I will take my sword and slay him. तिमीलाई यो घाउ कसले गर्यो? कसले बनायो तिमीलाई यस्तो घाइते कसले बनायो? मलाई उसको नाम भन, म अहिले उसलाई मार्दिन्छु. Then the child smiled and said, these are the wounds of love. यो त मायाको, it is wounds of love, he says. And he said, who are you? त्यो त्यति भनेपछि त्यो बच्चाले these are the wounds of love जब बोल्यो त्यो बच्चाले, यो सुनेपछि the giant was shocked. He had kind of realization. उसले रियलाइज गर्यो, महसुस गर्यो कि त्यो बच्चा साधारण बच्चा होइन. The child was really the incarnation of some divine power exists in that child. कुनै देवी, कुनै देवता, भगवान, ईश्वरको वास छ त्यो बच्चामा भन्ने महसुस भयो जायन्टलाई. अनि त्यो जायन्टले के भन्छ त? Who are you? He kneeled down. Then the child says, you let me play in your garden. तपाईले आफ्नो बगैँचामा हामीलाई खेल्न दिनुभयो. अब म तपाईलाई मेरो बगैँचामा, I will take you in my garden of paradise. My garden, म तपाईलाई मेरो बगैँचामा लान्छु, त्यहाँ तपाईलाई खेल्न दिन्छु. It is paradise. Paradise भनेको heaven, स्वर्ग भनेपछि त्यो बच्चाले त्यति भन्छन्. अब नेक्स्ट डे, अर्को दिन बिहान जब केटाकेटीहरू जब आउँछन् फर्केर घुम्न खेल्न आउँछन् गार्डनमा, के देख्छन् त्यो केटाकेटीहरूले? कि the giant was already dead. The giant was already dead, and his body was full of, right, flowers, beautiful flowers. It was covered with flowers. भनेपछि यो कथा एकदम सिम्पल छ, साधारण छ, र यसको एउटा मेसेज, यसको थीम के हो भने लभ, ह्युम्यानिटी, काइन्डनेस, कम्प्यासन. These are the things that make this world beautiful place to live in. हामी यो संसारमा जबसम्म युनिटी, कोअपरेसन, लभ, कम्प्यासन, यी सब कुराहरूलाई लिएर, यी सब कुराहरूलाई जबसम्म हामी प्रमोट गर्दैनौँ, जबसम्म हामी आफूमा डेभलप गर्दैनौँ, विकास गर्दैनौँ यसको, यो संसार बाँच्न लायक हुँदैन। किनभने एउटाको दुःख अरूले मिलेर त्यो दुःखको समाधान गर्नुपर्छ, राइट? ह्युम्यानिटी, लभ, compassion, these are the themes, message of the story. And one thing we can see, another theme, a giant भन्ने बित्तिकै, दानव भन्ने बित्तिकै just against human beings, हैन? ह्युम्यानिटीको अगेन्स्टमा बुझिन्छ। तर हामी के बुझ्छौँ भने एउटा जायन्ट पनि सुध्रिन सक्छ बच्चाको मायाले। प्रकृतिलाई यदि हामी बुझ्न सक्यौँ भने प्रकृतिमा यस्तो पावर छ। प्रकृतिलाई, यो नेचरलाई बुझेर, नेचरको मिस्ट्री बुझेर, नेचरको रहस्य बुझेर जायन्टमा परिवर्तन भएको हो। त्यो जायन्ट एउटा राम्रो मान्छे कसरी बन्यो त? प्रकृतिको रहस्यलाई बुझेर। प्रकृतिमा यति शक्ति छ, प्रकृतिमा यस्तो, प्रकृतिले यस्तो राम्रो यो गुरु हो, टिचर हो कि यसले एउटा जायन्टलाई पनि राम्रो मान्छे बनाउन सक्छ। हामी ह्युमन बिइङ्स भएर पनि राम्रो मान्छे बन्न सक्दैनौँ। जायन्ट सुध्रिन सक्छ भने एउटा राक्षस, एउटा दानव प्रकृतिको सङ्गतमा आएर, प्रकृतिबाट सिकेर मानव बन्न सक्छ। हामी मानव भएर पनि हामी प्रकृतिलाई बुझ्न नबुझी, हामी प्रकृतिलाई बुझेर पनि नबुझे जस्तै गरी हामी दानव भएका छौँ। हामी कति स्वार्थी, लोभी, घमण्डी भएका छौँ। हामी आफ्नो मेरो भन्दा हामीमा जबसम्म वी फिलिङ, आई फिलिङको अन्त गर्नुपर्छ। यो स्टोरीको मेसेज के हो? हामीमा आई फिलिङ, आई, मी, माइसेल्फलाई त्यागेर वी, अस, आवर सेल्फ्स, वी फिलिङ डेभलप गर्नुपर्छ। द्याट इज वान अफ द इम्पोर्टेन्ट म्यासेज अफ द स्टोरी। र अर्को म्यासेज, अर्को थिममा के आउँछ भने इट इज यु क्यान से गड, द प्रेजेन्स, देयर इज अ प्रेजेन्स अफ गड इन चाइल्ड, देयर इज द प्रेजेन्स अफ डिभाइन पावर इन अ स्मल चाइल्ड। सानो बच्चामा देवी देवताको, ईश्वरको अस्तित्व हुन्छ। ईश्वर बास गर्छन् बच्चाहरूमा, जसले बच्चाहरूलाई माया गर्छ, जसले बच्चाहरूलाई प्रेम गर्छ, जसले बच्चाहरूलाई सहयोग गर्छ, बच्चाहरूलाई प्रोटेक्ट गर्छ, बालबालिकाहरूको संरक्षण गर्छ, त्यसलाई भगवानले पनि के गर्छन् त? सहयोग गर्छन्। त्यो व्यक्तिमाथि भगवान पनि खुसी हुन्छन् र एउटा जायन्ट जस्तो व्यक्ति पनि, राक्षस दानव जस्तो व्यक्ति पनि स्वर्ग जान सक्छ, स्वर्गमा बास पाउन सक्छ। सेल्फिस जायन्ट थियो, जायन्ट भएर पनि उसले राम्रो काम गर्यो भने जायन्ट पनि स्वर्ग जान सक्छ। यो होइन कि एकदम ज्ञानी, पण्डित, महान, विद्वान, हैन, साधु सन्त महात्माहरू मात्रै स्वर्ग जान्छन् भन्ने यो जुन हाम्रो एउटा प्री इस्टाब्लिस्ड आइडिया छ, त्यसलाई हामी हटाउनुपर्छ। मिन्स जो पनि एउटा नराम्रो व्यक्ति पनि, एउटा खराब व्यक्ति पनि राम्रो प्रकृतिलाई राम्ररी बुझ्न सक्यो भने, नेचरलाई राम्ररी बुझ्न सक्यो भने त्यो सभ्य, भलादमी, ह्युमन बिइङ, ट्रु ह्युमन बिइङ बन्न सक्छ। दिस इज द मेसेज अफ द स्टोरी. I have given a summary of the story in description, and I will keep making videos of language portion as well as literature portion in the days to come. I wish you all the best. Thank you, and do subscribe the channel if you have not done. Thank you very much. I need your support and your encouragement so that I can continue it. Thank you very much.